How are we doing today, beautiful people? Welcome, welcome, welcome aboard. Not a bad number. How are you guys doing today? So, for all of you all who are here, you know the drill. Before we start, just to get you all warmed up, if you can drop on the chats where you are from and the temperature currently at the place you are, we'd love to know. Please go ahead, drop it on the chat where you're from and the temperature from where you are. And also, Swapnil likes to know this. Along with this, if you can also drop if you're an agency, freelancer, or if you're from a sales team, or if you're a sales member, drop it on the chat. We'd love to know. There you go. From Shialu, Pakistan. Wow, didn't know that. Awesome. We have a salesperson. India. Hello, sir. Houston, Bogota. Agency from Toronto. Awesome. 14 degrees. Can't complain.
Five back.
Five was there. Awesome. So without further ado, let's kick start. Today's session is an AMA session, as you guys saw. So I don't have my questions. It's going to be you guys who are shooting the questions to Justin. But the guest we have here, most of you all know him. It's Justin Chi. He's the co-founder of Cold Email Hackers. And also, Justin this is like a caption that we have for Justin, right? And he's the mastermind behind booking 3,000 meetings in over 18 months and with a proven cold email strategy. And before the AMA session starts, probably that's something that he can walk us through. And quick call out here, Justin is also a part of a certified partners call that we've launched. So in case if you'd want to hop on a call with him, again, any custom 90K plan user or above is eligible for these calls. Simply drop an email to me or a message to me or anybody in the team, Richard or Vijay. We will set this call for you, right? So without further ado, let's kickstart. Justin, before we start, a quick round of introduction from your end, and we can jump straight into it.
Yeah, for sure. So it's nice to meet everyone. I think a lot of you are familiar with me, but I do post on LinkedIn pretty frequently. Been partnered with Smartlead for quite some time now. And yeah, we're excited to kick off this partner program. I think it's going to be good value to people who are more hardcore Smartlead users. So that's yeah, I guess where do you want to start? I know we want to talk about the strategy a bit, like kind of our methodology. Like, is there anywhere you want to start?
Absolutely. We'd love to start with that because, again, this being an AMA, if you can put source to us, we'd love that. And then probably we can have people.
Okay. Yeah, there's several steps to process, right? Do you want to start with like list building? Do you want to start with
if you can do a quick recap from scratch, right? So list building, as you know, is the first step. So from list building to the infrastructure to the cold email strategy that you have.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'll try my best to like structure this out for everyone because some of it is kind of off the cuff, right? Like I'm not a huge agency. Like I do spend a lot of time doing things myself in the day to day, which is not ideal, of course. But as far as our general process, like you guys are familiar with Smartlead, so I'm not even going to talk about deliverability setup. Like that's pretty simple, right? Everybody here kind of knows how that works. As far as our copywriting process, we tend to start things very manually with customers. So when I onboard a customer, we're typically looking at the existing case studies, right? It's a three-step process. We look at the existing case studies, and what we're trying to do on these case studies is like we're trying to see what their top 3, top 5 industries are, and we're building like lists, right? I think on one of the AMAs I did here about a year ago, I walked everyone through my keyword process for building lists. So basically, just first step of our process, identify top 3, top 5 sort of campaigns or customers for a given company, and then use GPT to kind of generate keywords to find lookalikes of those existing customers. And then we manually write copy that's very targeted at these lookalike customers, right? Like, let's say, for example, I work with a company, they work with like, let's say fintech companies, cybersecurity companies, and we can write very targeted messages going after other fintech and cybersecurity companies. And we're really just trying to understand, right? Because for a given company, there's several pain points they solve, right? Like there's obviously multiple pain points they solve. There's also obviously multiple features they have. We're trying to boil those down into separate emails seeing what resonates the best with the prospect. And then from there, excuse me, I'm kind of coughing here. From there, we're just trying to figure out, okay, this performs best. How do we scale this up? But basically, the first step here I'm talking about is sort of a testing process. I'm not sure if you have questions there, but that's step one essentially. So,
Got it. I think that's pretty straightforward. And probably if they have questions, we'll have it for the AP, but you can go ahead.
Sure. Yeah, step two, we do use Clay, right? So the general theme of the emails that I write, like obviously there's certain features that we're pitching, there's certain features or certain pain points that we're targeting, but generally the theme of the emails is like we're basically telling them how we can help them specifically, right? Like we're telling them how our company can help their company based on what they do, based on what we do. So we're kind of figuring out the template. And then the step two is we use tools like Clay, we use GPT to kind of reverse engineer the first step across a broader audience. And then step three, we're also calling behind the list. We're sending, we're having people, we have SEOs on our team now. They're sort of like making cold calls, they're making text messages, that kind of stuff. So
got it. Yeah. Fair enough. And this is pretty much what we needed, the ideal framework that you used, to get these meetings booked. But again, if that's it, we'll probably open the floor for questions since the premises is an AMA, so that people can straight in, ask a question. So folks, React button in the center bottom, click on that, raise your hand, and we'll spotlight you. You can shoot your question straight to Justin. Until then, I'll pick up the chat. There are a couple of ones in the chat, Justin, if you'd want to look at them before. Yeah.
I see Raymond from 3,000 meetings, how many clients closed? Depends on the customer we work with. Some customers close at a decent rate, some don't. I would say the range it's close rate ranges from 10 to 30%, depending on the customer. So, and then how are you able to lead text messages? My understanding is like for B2B, and I don't know, because again, we're small operations, so maybe I should do more research on this, but we usually call after we text. And my understanding is like if they gave us a positive reply in email, it's okay to text, but I may be mistaken on that. So don't sue me. All right.
Eric, if you can put on the video, I'll quickly spotlight you, sir. Sorry. And next one is to Mary when you see.
Okay. Let me get through these first. I'll go up to Banjo and then I'll start calling people out on video. So I see Philip says lookalikes only manual by keywords or tools like Ocean.io. I use PandaMatch lately. PandaMatch has been pretty solid for us. Generally, keywords are good. I haven't used Ocean too much, but PandaMatch is solid for us. So when you see 5 to 7 bounces, what would your next step be? That's interesting. So we stopped sending to valid catch-alls completely. We were having some issues with bounces, probably January, December-ish, and we were sending to valid catch-alls. We just stopped sending. We don't even bother trying to validate catch-alls at this point. We just send to valid emails only. So there's that. All right, I'm gonna go to Banjo's question. Then I see General says SMS. Yeah, it probably does. We should probably stop doing that. But anyways, how would you write copy that converts for offer that doesn't have direct ROI? Like branding, probably reference case studies. So if you have strong case studies, basically just reference those, talk about some level of result you got for this company. Like maybe you help them rebrand or something like that. Like just have a strong case study. I feel like for those type of offers, you have a very strong case study. Another thing as well, it's not exactly what you're talking about, but I've cracked cold email for like SEO, right? Like that's historically somewhat difficult offer to do it for. And the way we did it for that was, instead of talking about, hey, I'm going to help you rank higher on search, let's say we go after lawyers, for example, right? Or let's say we go after home contractors, for example, if we're selling SEO over email. What we would do in that case, instead of saying, hey, look, like I'm going to help you rank higher, we would just propose an alternative, right? So it's like, what do contractors use to get leads in the US? They use something like Angie's List. So I would say, hey, we can help you get cheaper, more exclusive leads than Angie's List. And that's how we framed selling SEO to, let's say, home contractors. We just framed it differently. So, and let's get to Eric. I know Eric has been waiting for a bit. So
absolutely.
If you don't mind unmuting yourself.
Turn on your video. We'll quickly spotlight you. If that's okay.
Did you say Eric?
Yes.
Is that you?
Yes. So my question was actually around the 5 to 7% bounce rate. So
You had mentioned
Yeah.
removing all catch-alls, which we already did.
Yeah.
So just curious,
Sure.
with that under the belt, we've taken all the steps we think to stay around 1 to 2%, but just a little bit of guidance when you do hit that. What would be the next step?
Yeah. What's your validation tool?
Lead Magic.
Okay. Lead Magic. We use Lead Magic as well. So we love Lead Magic. We're friends of the founders. And do you use Clay to upload the list, or do you just upload it from Lead Magic and do the CSV manual? Like, how do you do that?
Yeah, through CSV.
Okay. If you go on, and I'll see if I can pull one up right here. Just give me 1 second. All right, I'm going to share my screen here.
Thank you.
Just make sure I don't expose the password. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can pull this up here. Just going to share my screen now. Yeah, generally you'll see here, I think I've already cleaned this list, but you'll see here, like on email status, some of them will say like valid _ catch-all. So just get rid of those basically. And then you'll also see here, like some of these are, let me see if I can pull up another one. It's like clean most of these. That's the thing. You'll see some of here as well, like Barracuda. I think I've cleaned most of these, but there's some like there's some SCPs or SCGs like Barracuda, Proofpoint, Mimecast, all that sort of stuff. Like you want to avoid sending to those as well. Like under the MX provider, like you'll see Proofpoint, you want to clean those out. And then, yeah, just see on your end, it should say like valid _ catch-all. Like I think we get rid of those as well. But these lists are already valid. But if you want to send me a message afterwards on Smartlead Slack, I can show you just to be sure. So
very cool. Thank you.
Yep.
Awesome. Thanks, Eric.
Yep.
Next up is Arun. Turn on your
before you do, can you just spotlight me for a second?
Absolutely.
Thank you. All right. Hi, everyone. I won't take too much time. There's way too much hair on this compared to me. But this is just a quick public call out for a lot of you over here who are customers of Smartlead or who are not. If you are, please do one or two things. One, make sure that if you're passing or giving access to your team members who are remote, please make sure they're trusted and they're verified, and then you can work closely with them. And if you are having concerns on that, we've got multiple layers where you can give them view-only access. And two, if you are doing that, my humble request for everyone to go ahead and set up two-factor authentication as well as do a forced logout once every 2 to 3 weeks time. It's not a common pattern, but we have seen some customers unfortunately have their accounts have annoyance issues. We do end up recovering all the data most of the time, but it's unnecessary. Where you have a rogue team member from a remote environment who goes ahead and does some bad actor activity simply because of maybe a misconstrued relationship, or even perhaps that their password got hacked or got sacrificed. So I just wanted to publicly call this out, that we do have the security protocols and features to allow you to do both these things. And that's just common practice. You should do that because in the end, you use Smartlead to make money and you don't want to go ahead and that happening. Leo, just while I'm here, no, there's no updates we've made any on the software right now to do any disconnects. If there's any disconnects, you probably want to see the reason for the disconnect because we do share that. But I'm dropping off on that part. Yes.
All right.
Thank you. There you go, sir.
All right, you can unmute yourself now.
There you go.
Hey, how's it going?
Right. Hi, thank you. I actually posted the message, but I'll share. So
Sure.
first, we are absolutely just nerds, just making software We have no marketing and sales team. We're just starting. So signed up for Seamless and for lead magic. Actually, not yet for lead magic, but definitely for Smartlead as well.
Sure.
And so we warmed up our accounts, ready to go. Got a database of all of the. So let me tell you what we sell. We build a cybersecurity product to meet the new regulatory requirements for defense contractors called CMMC.
Right.
It's a pretty cool product. Helps automate. Does most of it. In half the time and half the cost. So we're trying to market it now. And we got all the defense contractors and about 180,000 emails. So we want to clean that up first.
Sure.
We just don't know what to stop. We set up about 47 email accounts with like 6 different domains, all warmed up, ready to go. And then we don't want to start just spamming everybody. So what would be the next step? So you recommend we want to do like experiments.
How many contacts did you say you have?
180,000.
Okay, narrow it down. So what industries are these 180,000 in?
Yeah, great. So there's basically anyone who gets a defense contract across any company you can think of, like manufacturers, people who make weapons, people who sell eggs, anyone who sells stuff to defense contractors has to get the cybersecurity. So we can narrow it down to anyone from universities who do research. So we can do subsectors. We can select like manufacturing, we can select education, we can select different segments and experiment with those.
And are you going after like procurement people, or like what are you like what sort of job titles are on that list? Because 180,000 is pretty big, right? But like what sort of job titles are you reaching out to on that list?
Yeah. So those are jobs in operations and IT. So like decision makers or managers in information technology, cybersecurity, or operations, or owners. For smaller companies, they're owners usually.
Got it. And do you have existing customers already?
Yeah, we have about 5 or 6 customers.
Okay. Yeah, I would say this, because this is my thought process, right? Because I think what you're selling, like it's applicable to all contractors to the US government, right? Like they have to have this cybersecurity requirement. And I'm sure they know about it. Like they've probably got notifications about this from the federal government, right? Like they've been told they need this requirement, right? So it's like, I would just say like maybe those 5, 6 customers, go through that list, find lookalike customers, start there and just kind of say, hey, look, like we help this company get this certification or fill out this requirement in like a really fast time. Like just give them a time frame in which you got it done for them, and then just kind of go from there. I think this offer should do well because it's something they need to get done, right? So I think.
So how do we find lookalike customers? We don't even know how to do that.
Yeah. So if you're, let's take an example, like what industry are one of your lookalike customers in?
They are in manufacturing. So some of them make secret antennas. Obviously, we can't talk about them too much. Yeah.
Where did you get that list from, by the way? That the 180,000. Where did you get that list from?
Well, those are the contacts. We got about 40,000 companies that represent as contacts. So we went to the sam.gov.
Yes.
We extracted data from there. So everyone who received an award from the Department of Defense, it's all open source data. It doesn't say what they received it for. So anyone who received an award last 3.5 years, we got that data, and then we looked up their website, and then we use the website with Seamless to get their contacts.
Right. I probably use something like Clay, right? Like you already have the company names. So what I'd probably do, and this is by no means perfect, you're gonna have to go and play around with this because I think this is a much deeper discussion than what we're going over right now. But let me see if I can share my screen. So have you used Clay before, or is this like pretty new to you?
No, I've heard of it come up in another AMA before. So.
Got it. Let me just without showing too much of what we're doing here, because there's some stuff we don't want to show. Let me just pull this up here. One second, sorry.
And that's the other thing, right? They're all kind of sensitive about doing
Yeah.
work with the DoD, so they don't want to necessarily
I'm just gonna
respond
share
to
my
some random
screen.
guy emailing.
I mean, a lot of people won't, but people do respond to emails, right? So it's just like they may not respond as strongly as other audiences, but you should have luck. But yeah, pretty much just get Clay. This is how I'd approach what you're talking about. Like obviously, if someone else has ideas, feel free to chime in. But this is how I approach it for your use case. I would just upload that Clay list, and then you have the company domains, right? You have the company website.
Yeah.
Just like add enrichment, use AI. Go to here. You can either use their API or plug in your own API key. And I would just say something like, based on this, I think you have to use Claygen actually to do this, but based on this company's website, what subsegment or industry are they in? And then just here's the company site. If you have a company description, that helps as well. And then pretty much just have it like listed out, and then you can kind of just filter and segment from there. So, and then you can just reach out to people that are most similar to the companies you work with. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome.
Cool. I see Alex has been raising his hand.
Yeah, thanks, Harold. Hope that answered your question. Next up is Alex.
Yeah, Alex
Alex,
is,
if you can turn on your video, I'll
Alex is
quickly
next, yeah.
you. There you go. Can you unmute yourself? Perfect.
Thank you, guys. Hey, super cool. What caught my eye is that, I really want to learn from you, Justin, how you write emails that actually get responses. The reason for that is that CEO ICP is full of spam. They tell you to screw off right away. I was marketing for this musician, and I found this really cool ICP, which is like A&R rep. These are the people that's like scouting for talent. Those guys were like super responsive, and they're like, hey, shoot me his stuff. I'll listen to it. So I got like 34 responses, but overall, literally just 2 questions, and those are the juicy ones. What causes to get responses? Please, tell the juice. How you get how do you actually like structure the first and second email to get them to respond and book a meeting? And the second question, the best source for like local stuff. I tried out Scraper. I found it really dirty, but you mentioned home contractors, something I'm really interested to pitch as well. Like, kitchen remodelers, anybody who's in construction, anybody like plumbing, where do you get the leads? That's pretty much 2 questions. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, I'll answer your second question first because that's much simpler. So we have had success going on Fiverr, and I'll actually drop a link below to the guy I use on Fiverr. So I have a guy on Fiverr that builds lists for me, and I kind of just ask him.
Guys, okay.
Yeah, you could just ask him to build like local lists. He could build like these random lists, whatever. So that is one. I just dropped that in the chat there. Actually, let me just get rid of the UTM header there. Give me 1 second. Let me just share his profile. All right, this is the guy I use frequently. So I'm gonna put that here. Just sent that. The Fiverr guy's about to order Ferrari. Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, and then I also use Lead Magic. So Lead Magic has a local leads filter, so you can find local leads like that. That's good as well. So both are solid. The Fiverr guy I use is typically more for like niche lists, right? Like we've gone after cannabis companies, we've gone after like directories of people. I just have him scrape it, right? Another resource you can do is if you have a directory, you can use a tool like Instant Data Scraper. That's free of charge. It's just takes some time, right? And I don't really have much time lately, so we try to just pay people to do it, right? So that's for your second question. First question, I'll kind of break this down on a high level as best as I can, and feel free to like ask some clarifying questions. I know if you go on LinkedIn right now, a lot of people are talking about, oh yeah, it's the offer, which it is, like the offer really matters. But you also need to be selling to a sufficiently large audience, right? Like I'm not going to sugarcoat when I say, like when I'm selecting clients for myself, I don't work with clients that have really small TAMs. Like there's agencies out there that do, but for me, it's like if I work with you, I look at your TAM, I'm like, there's like 3,000 people in this TAM. I'm not working with you, basically, right? So there's 2 things. Has to be enough people to reach out to you, and offer has to be sufficient. So it's like you're asking why when you send emails to CEOs, they tell you to, like F off, they tell you to go. Right? So it's like CEOs is such a broad segment. There's CEOs of many different industries, but it's like end of day, and I'm just kind of rambling a bit here, so feel free to stop me and ask questions. But end of day, like they care about three things, right? They want to save money, they want to make money, they want to save time, right? Those are three things they want to get done. So it's like, how does what you sell help them achieve one of those three things? And beyond that, right? Like that's the first level. The second level is like everybody in their cold email, in their inbox, who is any decent, like probably other Smartlead users sending them emails, they're promising those same three things, right? So it's like, how do you solve those same three things that's different from everyone else? That's on a high level, like what I would describe as like what you should be thinking about when you're sending emails to people, as far as why they don't respond. And obviously, like if we look at the offer, what you're sending, like we can give some more specific advice, but I would say just generally try to stand out by giving a unique mechanism and make sure you're touching on one of those three pain points. So.
And the last question, Justin, I've heard
Sure.
that it's good to get started as a friendly message, like just, hey, like not to pitch right away, like, pitch elevator, say, hey,
Yeah.
kind of like get to know you, kind of like, and do you use that? And if you do, how do you do that? How do you build rapport with the cold audience, with the cold email?
It depends. So for us, we're optimizing, like our agency, we're optimizing for meetings, right? Like we get paid when we book meetings, right? Because we do pay per meeting. So I'm generally a bit more aggressive in that first message. But if you're kind of sending messages for yourself and you can nurture the leads a bit, I've seen people have success, especially like SaaS products. They'll say, oh yeah, I'm just looking for feedback. Or like, I see you're in this job title. You probably do these things a lot. Like, would love some feedback from you, right? And that's a little disingenuous to my view, but I've seen people make that work. So nothing wrong with what you're describing. I think it just requires some more nurture. So, yeah.
Awesome. I hope that answered your question, Alex. Thank you. Next up is Delphina. Here you go. Can you unmute yourself, please?
Hey, Delphina.
Yep. There you go.
Hi. Hello. Sorry for my English. First of all, I have two questions. One, it was when I think his name was Harold, comment that he bought, I don't know, 40 something inboxes and 6 domains, and that made some noise in my head. So if that is a good practice, first of all, because I know or in my case we use maximum 3 or 4 inboxes per domain. So that was one of the questions, and the other one, taking in account what Alex recently asked you and your answer, you think that when you say that I'm not going to work with, I don't know, customers that have small TAMs, it's like the key is not in the copy, it's in the volume.
It's both. So I'll answer your second question first, right? For me, I'm an agency, right? I get paid when I book meetings. So it's like, if you're kind of doing this for your own company, it's a bit different, right? Like you can spend some more time building very targeted campaigns, but to be frank, like I'm here to make money. So it's like, if I don't have much TAM to work with, there's not much money I can make. So it's like, that's why I don't work with customers with small TAMs. But if you're doing it for yourself, you can, even a smaller TAM, that's fine. Just don't expect to be booking like thousands of meetings, hundreds of meetings or whatever. Like you're going to get a lower volume of meetings. It's just a function of the available list. If you spend more time like building really small campaigns, let's say instead of just blasting a whole 3,000, let's say your TAM is really small, it's only 3,000. Maybe you break it down by 200-300 at a time, do more personalized stuff. You might be able to get a high booking rate. But I would just say like, first, don't expect too many. And then second is just like, that's just the way I work with customers is we don't, it's not, for me, it's not worth working with small TAM customers based on my model. So that's what I would say. And then your first question was in regards to volume per inbox, right? Is that correct? Or total volume? Like, what was your question there?
So it was actually, I believe, around the setup, how many mailboxes per domain, if I'm not wrong?
Yeah.
Yes, how many inboxes per domain? Because I read some of the comments also about what Harold said, but about the bounce rate, and they work for me. They are like really high. So it's like we have like 1% or less, but we use Smartlead because of the deliverability features. So that's what my question about.
I would say, so first, send to valids only. Like some of these tools have valid and valid catch-all. I just cut out valid catch-all completely. That's my personal preference. I just want to avoid the bounces, but we send the valids only. So that's number one. Number two, as far as setup, generally I would say about 3 inboxes per domain is pretty safe. And we're very conservative, but it ends up costing us a lot more money, right? As far as like buying inboxes. Generally, I would say you can probably send about 30 emails per inbox per day, although we do less than that. So you can send about 20 to 30 emails per inbox per day, and that's pretty safe. But we do
three inboxes per domain and 30 inboxes average per inbox.
30 emails per inbox per day. So total 60 to 90 emails per domain per day. That's a max. So
okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you, Delfina.
All right, we'll answer Stephanie, and I'll go through the
chat.
Chat,
kind of too many questions there.
Yeah,
Stephanie, turn on your video. I'll quickly spotlight you, ma'am. Stephanie, are you there? If you can turn on your video, I'll spotlight you. If not, you can ask your question.
Yeah, just give her a second. I move on. All right, I think she's off mute.
Oh, do you mean me?
Yeah, it says Stephanie's iPhone.
Yeah, Stephanie's iPhone.
Oh my gosh, I'm using my girlfriend's phone. Sorry, guys, I was just sat there thinking what's going on. I was like, is that me? Then it asked me to unmute. Sorry, super quick. I've just recently scaled up my data list from 2,000 and we've now got it to 20,000. First of all, I'm so glad I had this meeting because I thought you could use catch-alls and you use like Scrappy to clean your catch-alls, and I thought I was doing it really safe, and I've just spent like £400 today.
Scrappy is
doing my catch-alls.
So
I'm like, I hope I haven't wasted.
Let me stop you there for a second. So I'll say, like, generally, if you're sending valid catch-all, it's probably fine. We're just very conservative. Like, I have so many inboxes, I don't want to.
No, not valid catch-all, just catch-all. It said risky. Sorry.
Yeah.
It said risky, sorry.
I haven't used Scrappy personally, but I know that's Nick's company, I think. Nick is very reputable. So you can test it out. But personally, I just send valids. That's my advice.
Okay.
So,
fine. And then next tip. So like we're starting the warm-up today. So I just I was advised to do 1 mailbox per domain and do about 27 emails per day. So super safe. And I've just bought 170 domains, 170 mailboxes, list of 20,000. Is there anything else I should look for in that list that I've just got that's valid that I should just be aware of? I use Million Verifier to validate.
No, that sounds pretty safe. 1 inbox per domain, very conservative, 27 emails per inbox, also very conservative. Just warm it up properly for 2 weeks. Like, don't skip the warm up and you should be good to go. So.
All right, sweet. Nice one. Thanks, guys.
Right,
and Million Verifier is a good tool, you would say?
Yeah, I've seen people use it. I haven't used it personally, but I've heard good things about Million Verifier. So,
all right, sweet, nice one.
Cool. Let's start on the chat. So I see. All right. So where do we stop? All right. So I answered Banjo last.
So I think
answered Alex. I see Lee.
I think probably start from Lee, Justin. I think from Lee.
Okay. Yeah, we work with early stage startups, founder-led sales. A lot of them suck at closing. What can we do to experience without doing any sort of sales training of some sorts? I mean, I think the only way is to offer them sales training. Like, I'm not the best closer myself, to be frank. Like, I'm not the best closer myself, but I do have a sales trainer, and I tend to refer my sales trainer to my clients who are bad at closing. But I also feel like that's sometimes a tricky conversation because people don't like to think that they're bad at closing. So it's just something you're going to have to navigate with your customers, right? So that's that. Let's move on from Lee. Let me see here. All right, just give me a second. That was email deliverability with Outlook, any secret sauce. We find age domains are doing well for us and also sending shorter emails, but it's not foolproof. Like, we still have some issues with Outlook. So, all right, already answered Alex's question. What's a more effective personalization trigger? Sometimes I got that personalization is not getting replies anymore. Really depends. If you were not getting meetings without personalization already, personalization is not going to save you. So make sure you get the templates down, use that lookalike process I mentioned. Just be very targeted in the beginning. and figure out how to even get meetings first before you start trying to do triggers or personalization or whatever. Because I see triggers and personalization as sort of like a supercharger, right? Like the car's already driving, but like you add the personalization, it makes it better. But like if the car doesn't work as it is, there's no point. So, all right, Harut, got to your question there already. All right, when I send leads to my sales team, the leads don't answer their emails. I mean, that sounds like a sales team problem. That's so we're saying like sales leads don't answer the email. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Biggest thing I would say is Smartlead has subsequences. So make sure you're using subsequences. And if you have someone who's replying to emails, make sure they're able to get to the responses in 5 minutes or less. Internally, our KPI for reply managers is sub 5 minute response. So as soon as we see the reply in the inbox, we're responding. All right, we struggle massively with HR directors for English classes in European markets, super competitive and super saturated. I mean, to be honest, like, I don't know anything about English classes in European markets, but it sounds like something they would just Google for. It's probably just, and this, again, like you said, it's not much ROI. Maybe you can see if they're already paying for English classes and offer to do it cheaper. That's the only thing I can see as far as that goes. But that sounds like a volume play, right? Like when you're sending emails, generally there's 2 buckets that we go after. There's demand generation, demand capture. This sounds like a demand capture offer. You're just going to have to send more emails. General, are you opting to not send to Outlook, Yahoo, AOL domains, given basically zero deliverability to these ESPs? Lately, we've been separating these campaigns and kind of observing results. And we've had some placement. I think I mentioned earlier, is we do send off age domains. We have some old domains that we'll just redirect to client domains, and we've just been having some luck with that, but it's not foolproof. So we are targeting sales leaders in Series A plus companies, but not seeing positive reply. Again, it's like, what do you sell? First, what do you sell? Is your deliverability set up properly? I think I mentioned some ideal settings. Make sure your setup's proper, and make sure you're selling something people actually want, and make sure that your email is of the right format. So any updates in software causing mailboxes disconnecting? I think Vibe have addressed that. All right. Small bunch of users. Okay, that's who sells.
If I can pick up one, it's right after this. What length and format of email
Yes.
have you found that works the best? We are targeting high energy usage prospects of commercial rooftop solar.
I would say general rule of thumb, you guys have probably all read this, 50 to 100 words, 4 or 5 sentences max. Very simple. So.
Awesome.
Yep.
Any recommendations to Airtable?
We use Airtable for tracking meetings, for tracking positive replies. So I'm not sure what you mean by that, but yeah, it does get pretty expensive quick. So subject lines I used to work.
Subject
lines work. Yeah. What's proved to be best in terms of subject line? Don't overthink subject line. I think people are overthinking subject line. Like if you were sending something long, and also tell me if I'm wrong here, but I have a gut feeling like you're tracking open rates as well. First, like, because generally, like people who track open rates tend to harp on subject line a lot from my experience. So like, don't track open rates if you are. As far as subject lines, don't overthink it. Just make it sound somewhat internal. So like for my own emails, like I'm selling cold email services. When I'm sending emails to companies, I'll just say something like pipeline Q1, or I'll say like sales call, sales demos, Q1, first name or something. Just make it very simple, like 3-4 words. Make it sound internal. Don't overthink it. Basically, you could do more harm. You could do more harm than good by having a crazy subject line. So be very conservative on the subject line, right? All right. So Maxime says, would love to know your step-by-step framework to build an email sequence. We kind of went over that in the beginning of the call, but basically it's just be very targeted in the beginning before you start trying to scale up and blast a ton of volume. And when you're building these first campaigns, just think about how the customers use your product, right? Like, what are they using your product for? What are they solving with your product? Like, what features are they using, how are they using it, try to reverse engineer that into an email. And then Marie says, you guys about to order Ferrari. If my email spam score is negative 0.2, but my emails are being labeled spam, what does that tell me and what do I do about it? I mean, it could be a lot of reasons, like MC says. I'd be curious to know, like, where are you getting the spam score? If it's like smart delivery, are you getting this on mail reach? I don't know where you're getting it on, but certain blacklists do affect you more. Like there's one that we've been seeing called Serble. I think a lot of people know about that one. Pretty much if you're on Serble, you're cooked, right? Like there's not much you can do. So there's a lot of reasons. It's too hard to say just from that message. Also, maybe don't reach out to CEOs. Well, I don't really agree with that. We have luck sending CEOs, but maybe you haven't. Hi, Justin. Since you charge per meeting, would love to. Oh, sorry, let me just respond to that. All right. How much do you charge per meetings? Are you asking as another agency, or are you asking like as someone who's interested in working with us? But I would say generally $500 to $800 per meeting is our recent pricing, and we do charge a setup fee as well. So, a nice Maritz, gonna go punch people in the face. Nice. I also box. All right, you talked about case studies. Are you sending these as links? No. So the way we structure case studies is we basically tell them this. It's like, hey, we help X company get Y result in Z time frame. Very simple. So that's what I would say. Would you be able to share some tips for copywriting? Yeah, I mean, don't overthink it. Just keep it simple. Like I said, 50 to 100 words, 4 to 5 sentences. When you're explaining what it is you offer, make sure you're tying to one of those 3 pain points I mentioned, and then make sure that what you're offering is somewhat of a unique mechanism, and also use case studies. So, wow, not the emails. 10 meetings a day. I mean, depends what you're selling. Cost per meeting is 5 to 800. It depends, but I would say 5 to 800 is a minimum. Can you explain SPF, DKIM, DMARC settings and benefits? That's just basic verification for your domain. Smartlead has some articles on that, so you can probably dive into that. It's a bit more complex than how I'm describing it. Can we get a recording in the video? Sure. Any tips for subject lines? Already covered this. If you have a very niche product, customer doesn't know about the requirement, how can you tackle this? I mean, that's pretty tough, right? Like, for some of these questions, it'd be helpful if these people got on.
Yeah, exactly. So that was my point.
I'm just like, I'm reading this. I'm like, okay, that's
yeah, it's like streaming sometimes. So.
Yeah.
I'm like, guys, if you can please raise your questions. Like, that's why we actually set the session for you guys. Jump in, ask your questions directly. You don't have to type too much. You don't have to have follow-up questions. You can get it answered by Justin directly. So I'd really appreciate if you guys can raise your hand. I'll spotlight you. Shoot your questions. Going to be quick for all of us.
All right. Let's see. I'm just gonna wrap up these. Actually, let's just start. You know what? It's easier. It's way easier talking to people who have their hands raised. So let's go with Harut again.
Andres, if you can.
Yeah, let's go off the hand raise.
Probably we'll go with Andres.
Okay. That's fine.
There you go. Love it. Andres, if you can turn on your video, let me quickly spotlight you. Yep. Can you hear us? Can you turn on the video, please, Andres? Okay. Just give me 1 second. All right.
Sure.
But Justin, in the meantime, right, one common question: how is Outlook working for you? How is reaching Outlook inboxes working for you?
It's still kind of spotty. Like it's not perfect. Right. Just being as transparent as possible. It's still a little spotty.
Right.
But the age domains do help. I think it's so much better than brand new domains, right? So, yeah.
Nice.
Cool. If Andres is not ready, maybe we can move on to
Ivan, in the meantime, if you can turn on your video, Andres is here.
Okay, Andres.
I'm here.
Let's go, Zach.
Well, thank you, Justin. I have been following you for a while, so I
Sure.
know some of the updates you share on LinkedIn.
Appreciate
Well,
it.
I have one question. Can you target companies that only have remote workers specifically?
That's a great question. So I actually ran a campaign like that very recently. I was targeting hybrid workers, but that's
Okay.
let me share my screen here.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
I was using Lead Magic, right? Lead Magic. Let me see. This is a bit ago, but let me see if they have this. So they still have their job scraper. Let me just share my screen here. This was probably in January I was doing this, but I think if you go on Lead Magic and then do they have their job scraper still? Oh, they do. Okay. Just go on jobs data and you'll pull this up here. Just look for keywords like remote, job type. If you actually want to, you have me on LinkedIn, I'll send you my email. If you want to send me a message, there was a repository I was using that had remote jobs that had someone scrape for me. So I can send you that repository and I was going from there. But I would just go off the job descriptions if I was you. So yeah, let me give you my email as well. Oh, sorry, you're on mute.
Awesome.
Cool.
Andres, I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, I wanted to activate my audio. But well, I can give you some context on it. I am running an digital insurer, digital health insurer for Latin region. So most of the clients that we have right now are US companies that are hiring in bulks from Latam. So,
Yes.
for example, one of our top clients just hired like 20 plus software developers.
Yeah.
So for me, that's the goal because I can sell in
Yeah.
group insurance. So
Okay.
for it.
Yeah. Try that. Try Lead Magic. They have that job scraper. You can just put in the description like remote, work from home, that kind of stuff. I would start there, and then you can just pull that list, plug it into Apollo, and then pull leads from Apollo. So
Okay, great. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yep.
Thank you, Andres. Next up is Ivan. If you can turn on your video, I'll quickly spotlight you, and then you can ask your question. There you go. Can you unmute yourself?
Yep, that's good.
Perfect.
Hey, Evan, how's it going?
It's going good, man. Thanks for doing this for all of us.
Yeah.
So I just moved to a pay per lead model for all interested replies. These aren't meeting ready leads. These are just basically positive responses.
Nice.
Just wanted to get your input on how you kind of figure out what that number is. I literally just got off a sales call and it was
Yeah.
kind of like, what's your LTGP? Like, what's your close percent? And it was just, I don't know how to get to that number.
I mean, it's hard to say, like, depends on your model. I would just say, like, generally, it's significantly cheaper. If it's like positive replies and not meetings, it's significantly cheaper than what we charge for meetings. Can't really go into specifics about like the specific model because we have some clients on that. But
Yeah.
I would just say, like, look at your meeting conversion rates and then just kind of work backwards from there, like positive reply to meeting.
My
conversion.
own, you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. Just whatever you think it would be, just work backwards from there. So,
yeah. Cool.
Yep.
Thanks, man.
Yep. No worries.
Thank you. Pierre, if you can turn on your video, I'll spotlight you. There you go.
How's it going, Justin? Good to see you in here. I think Evan kind of alluded to this, or like a similar question that I had, which was I am going paper meeting for a client, and it's a little bit weird because we have been using a lot of lead magnets. So a lot of these lead magnets are generating interest, but not necessarily meetings.
Yeah.
How would you approach that?
Yeah. Just if you're doing paper meet, I would say this, like, I've tried lead magnets before and they get a lot of positives, like you said, but it's kind of hard to book off of it. I just ask for the meeting. Your conversions can be lower, but just change the CTA. That's pretty much it. So.
Okay. Even in like hyper competitive, say like you're doing cybersecurity or
it's like,
or something.
I wouldn't even have touched those as a client.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I would say you probably just need to send more emails. Just try not to overcomplicate it. Yeah.
Cool, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for all the
seeing you, man.
sauce.
Yep.
Yeah, you too.
Gopi, if you can turn on your video, sir. There you go. Yep. Can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep,
Loud and
that's
clear.
good.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, Justin. This is Gopi. So I have two questions for you. Like, first question is like, as you mentioned, we can send 60 to 90 emails using one domain, right? So does it include warm-up emails as well?
Yeah. Warm-up emails. No, that doesn't include Wedge, just cold emails. So yeah, warm-up is separate. Once it's warmed up, we tend to send about 10 emails a day, 10 warm-up emails a day per inbox.
So 10 warm-ups and rest, we can send it per campaigns, right? So within the 60 to 90. And the second question is like, when we're using Clay, to personalize our first lines, right? Like, what do you suggest? Referring the companies, highlight the companies things is a good thing, or referring to the person for a personalized is a good way to do. Which one is a proper one?
So clarify that again, please. So you're saying like, what do I use for personalization? Or
like when we use Clay, right? Like to use a kind of personalization sentences, in our very first line of our templates. So which one should we refer? Like, should we refer to the persons or should we refer to the companies?
Try to refer to the company if you can, like something relevant about the company. Just make it just make what you sell relevant to them, basically. But we do both, basically. So we do person level personalization in the PS line, and we'll just say, hey, look, like I see you're in this area. Just make some note about that. Like, just make it seem a bit more human. I find that reduces spam complaint rates as well. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks, Gopi. There you go. Pankaj, if you can turn on your video. I'm glad you found the react button. So now, if you turn on your video, I'll quickly spotlight you, sir.
Is it done? I'm audible?
Yeah, we
You
can.
are. Yes. There you go.
Yeah, I did. Hi, guys. So Justin, a quick question for you. How do you check intent? How do you check intent and what are the parameters before sending any specific message?
What do you mean by intent? Just like, can you give some examples?
Okay, so intent basically, if I have something, a very niche product, and I want to evaluate my audience before sending the message, how can I check the account that this is the correct account for me to reach out, basically? Yeah,
I would just reach out to like whoever is in your ICP and just try to make what you're selling relevant to them. Like, we don't do a ton of that.
I did try that, but it couldn't fulfill my purpose. So I just thought it would better if I can check the intent first.
You probably just need to change it off around. People probably just don't want what you're selling, to be frank. So if I had to be very blunt and honest, like you can DM me on LinkedIn. I'll take a look at what you're selling, but that's usually the problem. It's like you're just selling something people don't want, or you're not framing it properly. It's not usually like an intent thing. Intent doesn't like make or break the campaigns, in my experience. Like, I've never had a campaign that wasn't working without intent, and then I just started laying on these like signals or whatever, and it just started working. I've never had that happen. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe other people are smarter than me. Like, that's been my personal experience. So
if I can take an example of Harut, the compliance guy. His product is very niche, and it's very hard to find a right audience for him.
What's your product though? Like, what's your product here?
I'm an agency.
So you're an agency, okay?
Yeah.
So what problem? What are you solving for them? Like, what do you do for the customers?
I provide leads for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So leads should be pretty easy to get meetings for. Like, we book a ton of meetings for ourselves, so it's like, what exactly are you pitching to them in the messages you're sending? Because I'll say for my own campaigns, I do some level of personalization. I talk about that. I won't get into too many specifics because I don't want to give out details of my own campaigns. But I tend to just give examples of how we can help them, right? We just blast a ton of emails. And for ourselves, we probably get like 30 to 100 meetings a month. I kind of slow it down depending on, capacity, that kind of stuff. But we're able to get meetings for lead gen all day. That's one of the easiest offers to do lead gen for. So would be curious to hear like what you're pitching exactly.
Oh, so we do have a client that we have that he got very niche in cybersecurity, and I was trying to find a right audience for him. And while I was trying that, the audience doesn't know the audience doesn't know about the need that they actually need the product or not. So I was just curious, how can I have to first learn them, or what do I do, if I'm getting my point right?
Yeah, so you're saying like the audience doesn't understand the problem.
Yes,
basically. So what problems does the audience understand? Because I feel like you have to educate them. That's just such a long process. Like it's very hard to work that. So like, what do they know about that you can still help them with? If they don't know about it, they don't care about it, maybe you can try educating them about, like, in the email.
But that's a very long process for an agency to follow.
What's that?
But if I first try to educate them, then it will be a very long process for me to follow. I'm just an agency. I have to.
Is there any other pain point that they solve that's not the one you're talking about? Is there any other pain points they can solve? Like maybe focus on that instead?
No, they don't have any other pain points.
So,
just specific in
cybersecurity. Probably just need to educate them and play the long game in that case.
Okay, let's say I've got another question here. I do have a different client which basically in design and development firm. And I want to generate leads from them. So I do have the right set of ICPs accounts, and now I want to check that this account has any requirement for the IT project. So how do I evaluate that this company is looking for any project or is interested in developing or outsourcing any IT project?
If you're like focused on signals, maybe you can just pull like job postings, that kind of stuff. That's probably where I'd start and just look through job descriptions and go from there. But yeah, let's see.
One is job posting and another.
You can do it. So Alex said you can do it on Apollo. You can also do it on Lead Magic.
I do use Clay, but not very intensively.
I do use Clay.
Yep,
I use Clay. Yep.
So what parameters you check on intent for Clay?
Just start with job postings, man. I would just like Lead Magic. That's probably where I'd start. But yeah, this be a conversation that's like super long. So.
So Pankaj, respectful of everybody's time, mate. Thank you so much. I hope
and I see Harut's message, like, do not educate and cybersecurity. Yeah, I don't personally really work with that many cybersecurity companies, so maybe I'm not the best subject matter expert here. So, all right, Harut.
Harut, last question for the session. There you go. Can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, hi. All right, this time it's Mac and I. So I've actually a question and a point on that. Yeah, so in cyber, we don't sell cybersecurity, even though we're a cybersecurity product. I want to comment on that. We sell compliance with regulations because they understand that, right? There's new laws, you comply with that, or you go out of business. Everybody understands that. There is. You don't have to understand the flux capacitor. You don't have to understand any of that stuff. You just stay in business, don't get fired. That's easy to sell. Comply with the DoD regulations. That's easy. So I'm more of, I guess it's a question in how your agency works. Well, I shouldn't say easy. Do you work with the systems that we have, or do you kind of work with your own? Do you use the kind of the Smartlead that we have set up, or
we set everything up from scratch on our side, so it's all fresh. We're building a list, setting up the inboxes, setting up the Smartlead. It's all from scratch for us.
Can you use what we set up already? That's already up and running.
If you have a list already, we can definitely use that. But as part of our service, we do list building for you as well if you'd like us to do that. So,
well, I mean, can you use our Smartlead account and all that?
We tend to avoid that just for management purposes because we do have a reply manager that works off the master inbox. So a lot of times it's like having to check between multiple master inboxes doesn't fit with the workflow so well. So,
I got it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I guess we can talk about it. I'll email you. But
did you? I DM'd you the email. Did you get it?
I haven't checked my inbox yet, but I'm curious. What are the reasons you guys in general don't work with cybersecurity?
Yeah, I mean, I think early on, and this is just like kind of what we tend to focus on, right? It's like early on, we had some cybersecurity customers, didn't get the best results. I don't fully understand a lot of the cybersecurity stuff. And we just kind of haven't touched it since. It's just not something I focus on in my outreach. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, I appreciate that.
Thanks, Harut.
Thank you.
Before we come to an end, we have Swapnil here. So Swapnil had some announcement to make, a few interesting callouts. Swapnil, there you go, sir. We would want to hear what you have for us.
Awesome. Hey, folks. Thank you for joining this session. So before you drop off, I just wanted to quickly announce 3 new features that we will be rolling out and have rolled out. The first one is if you're already on a base plan, you now get full API access free of cost, which means it is included in your base plan. You can get started automating. You don't have to jump onto a pro plan. And this is done with intention of ensuring that you guys automate everything and focus on what truly matters, which is growing your business. The second is for smart senders, our marketplace for adding mailboxes. We'll be adding a new vendor next week. Ideally, we should be doing a soft launch tomorrow, but yeah, we'll be adding a new vendor next week. And the final launch is we will be pushing out our revamped, updated version of Global Analytics, is the version 2 of Global Analytics. What you can expect from Global Analytics V2 is 3 to 4 things. I don't want to give everything away. The first one, you can now track up to 365 days or a year worth of data. 2, you can track client level performance. 3, you can track email sending or ESP specific domain analytics. And yeah, we're giving you more filters and better insights. So yeah, that's the core updates for all of you folks. And yeah, over to you, Akash.
Thank you, Swapnil. And trust me, guys, Global Analytics is robust. Again, I don't want to spill the sauce. I'll wait for you all to see it, but it's robust. Justin, thank you so much as always. Absolutely beautiful session. Is there anything that you would like to add before you go, sir?
Not really. Just anybody who's on that Smartlead 90K plus plan, if you're on the higher tier plans, how do you build? You just reach out to support and then
just reach out to me. You can reach out on Slack DMs. I'll drop my email address on chat. So in case if you're a custom 90K plan or above user, drop an email to me. We'll set up a call with you, for you, Justin, and voila, we can take it from there.
Yeah, just book through. So they'll send you the calendar link. Please make sure you're booking off that, not the link on the website. We have 2 separate links for that. So.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Justin. We'll pretty soon have one more call with you pretty soon. But again, thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking the time today, people. We have one more office hour sessions tomorrow with Harris Kenny. We'll see you all on that one. But until then, ciao. Thank you so much.